Welcome to this episode of Mindful Medicine. I'm your host, Tracie Jones, and I'm here with Dr. Jim Schrenker. Today, we will be talking about the throat chakra, and the mantra for it is, I understand the intent behind an action. Dr. Schrenker, can you explain that?
Yeah. So throat chakra, located right here in the middle of the throat. Organs associated with it are going to be thyroid, parathyroid, epiglottis, posterior pharynx, maybe a little bit of the esophagus. It is the musical note G. The color's blue, and that's the basic way that you would balance that is with that musical note, wearing or looking or meditating on the color blue. As far as distilling it down, it's almost about discernment. It's about how am I relating to my world? Am I following my truth? If I had to ask somebody something about their throat chakra, it would be, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know, what did you really want to be? And then why are you not doing it now? So it's about following that truth. It's about being true to yourself. It's not necessarily so petty as being truthful, but it's about following what is deeply inside you as who you are as a human being. So you grew up and you wanted to be an archaeologist. Why did you want to be an archaeologist? You know, what are the feelings around that? Why are you not an archaeologist? Well, you know, and that was right after I got off of wanting to be the garbage man because they got to ride on the back of the truck, and I thought that was cool. When I figured out that wasn't going to be a good career path, I was like, I love dinosaurs. I'm going to be an archaeologist. I came to a very real conclusion, and this was, I was a freshman in college at Indiana University. I had talked to my counselor. They did not have an archaeology degree. They were going to create a path for me to get an archaeology degree. And halfway through that first semester, as I was talking to people, I'm like, man, if I want to be a great archaeologist, I'm going to live my life in a tent in the Middle East. And I'm like, I really like a nice bed. I want some air conditioning. And I'm like, I don't want to be an archaeologist. I want to just dig dinosaur bones in my backyard. So, and that was who I was going to be all through high school and everything else. Now, talking back to my parents and my brothers and sisters, they never really thought that would pan out. But as a great family does, they never told me that wasn't going to work out. So shifted into, hey, yeah, maybe I'll do this medicine thing on the side, you know, and dig dinosaur bones for a hobby. But that was my truth. But I chose to change that truth so it did not affect me necessarily. I have a patient that I can remember about 4 or 5 years ago. She had thyroid issues. And she brought up, she goes, what would this be spiritually? What would this be metaphysically, your thyroid? I'm like, well, usually somewhere right around the time it started, there would be something that you have compromised your life with. You know, and again, what do you want to be when you grow up? What did you want to do? And she looked and she kind of got a little teary-eyed. And I go, what? And she goes, I always wanted to be a school teacher, and I was a school teacher. And I fell in love with my husband, and they'd been married. At this point, they'd been married 30 years. I mean, it wasn't like a failed marriage. But he was in business, and she was a school teacher, and it worked until he started moving up the ladder. And as he moved up the ladder, they made more and more money. She got to do whatever she wanted to do. And he kind of forced her hand into, hey, why don't you stay at home? Why don't you help out? You don't need to work. And of course, that sounds great to anybody. You know, hey, yeah, I'll stay at home and raise the kids. I don't need to work. But when she did that, she felt she lost a bit of herself. And she felt that she had compromised and she had sold out, so to speak. And that's when her thyroid issues actually started. Interestingly enough, fast forward, she started substitute teaching. She started becoming a class assistant and really got some fulfillment, enjoyment out of that. Didn't have to make any money at that point, so money wasn't an object. And she was able to go back into that after she had come to that conclusion, in her life with just a little bit of a direction from us on what she needs to look for. So, if you come to us with a throat issue, that's, one of the things I'm going to say, is, have you ever thought your body could be talking to you? Have you ever thought there could be an emotional aspect? And, and if you get an answer with that, then it's like, well, so answer me this. What do you want to be when you grow up? So what do you want to be when you grew up?
Me?
Yeah.
A concert pianist.
And why are you not doing it?
Because you don't make any money at it and you have to pay bills. So
exactly. How's your thyroid? So, again, use it as a game, use it as something fun, use it as, but take the information and run with it and see where you can go with that chakra. So, swallowing issues. What are you having? What truth are you having trouble swallowing? What part in your life are you have trouble swallowing right now? Is this not setting well with you? So there's all sorts of things that you can do from a metaphysical standpoint when you get to these chakras.
What about if you're just holding a lot of things in? Maybe you want to say something,
right,
but you don't.
Right. So that could be throat chakra, and it is. The primary issue is the throat chakra, but very closely after that is going to be liver issues and colon issues, because liver is holding on to anger. Liver is where you store your anger. It's the seat of that. It could also be the seat of love. But then colon, you can hold on to stuff. So you would think that if you're doing that, you're going to have other things that are going to be involved in that. But choking down the truth, choking down, what you want to say, not being able to say what you want to do, those are going to manifest as throat issues. And it could be thyroid issues too, or parathyroid issues. Anything devolved to that throat chakra has to make you think, okay, what is it that I'm not saying, or what is it that I'm not following? And it's not something superficial. This is something deep. This is something, as we go farther up the chakra, it gets deeper and deeper in your psyche. So these are major things in your life that you have compromised on unwillingly, or in my case, in your case, willingly. It's like, okay, this isn't going to work. I need another venue for this.
Right. And I think, like you, my truth changed, because what I do now, it's helping others. And
right.
I love doing that.
Right.
So I think that has really changed a perspective that I used to have, because even with music, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. You're hopefully playing beautiful music,
right,
and filling other people with joy.
Right. So there's other ways around it.
Right, exactly.
So it's just a different type of music.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes. Are there certain emotional characteristics that you see in someone that has a blocked throat chakra?
What are you getting at? What do you mean?
Well, I'm just wondering, do they come in and are they
So like your sacral
weepy
chakra, they would come in and we would go, oh gosh, there's going to be a close personal relationship issue here. Let me talk about
or
parents,
there's
things like
anger
that.
and things like that. Do they come in exhibiting are they very quiet? Are they crying a lot? Are they, is there an emotional aspect to that? Maybe there isn't in the throat chakra.
Well, I think what you'll see more than anything else is a facade. I think what you will see is, hey, look, everything's going great. This is good.
Okay.
But then if you peel the layers back, it's like, because this is something that is so repressed and so far down in who you are energetically that you have built layers up over that, not out of a pathologic need to build a layer up and to cover something up, but just because you're living life, She wasn't a school teacher anymore, but gosh, she was very successful. Everything that she touched turned to gold, right? Her husband was successful. She wasn't unhappy. That's the thing. She wasn't unhappy with that. But if given the choice at this point in her life, she would have gone back and continued the teaching, just not had to worry about the paycheck. right? So you'll see those layers, and it'll be generally well-rounded, well-adjusted people. I mean, we're not looking at a lot of pathology here. Now, cancer, again, is a different organism. Cancer is anger. And, the cancer is what's eating you. It's what's eating you on the inside, literally. So that's going to be a little more obvious. And that can be more of a malignant type of truth. I'm angry because I was unable to do this. I'm angry because of that. Esophageal cancer and esophagitis. Esophagitis is a very common problem with a lot of people. That's 2 chakras. That's not 1 chakra. That's 2 chakras. That's how you feel about yourself in the sacral chakra, refluxing up into the heart chakra, which should be unconditional love. So it's like, I'm vehemently upset at myself because I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing, or something's happening to me that I don't like. So again, to have a single chakra issue, I mean, I don't think you could. I don't think you could see that as a human being. So it's going to be intertwined with everything around it.
But it does seem like, as we've been talking through the series, at the bottom, the root, there were a lot more obvious emotional issues.
Right.
And so as we've came up through, those are getting fewer.
Right.
Is that?
They're getting fewer, but they're getting deeper, right? So in your base chakra, this is all about how other people think about me. It's all about how I think about myself. It's those root, guttural energies that makes you a human being. Sacral chakra is your family and everybody around you, and then it comes right back to self, and it's all about you. And then this is about you, but in an unconditional love standpoint and creator. And now all of a sudden it's like, okay, what is the point of my life? What am I doing? What is my truth? What am I here to do? More of a question that you ask, in your 5th, 6th, 7th decade of life. What's my legacy? What am I going to leave behind? What am I here? So, and then as we go to the brow chakra, then that is very ethereal. I mean, and it has to do with the brain and things like that. And we'll get into that next week. But, we start with the bones and the tendons, and now we're talking about metaphysical stuff that's thought, that doesn't even exist. It's like how I think about myself. It's not even, there's nothing physical about it. It's just a thought.
Right. That then can become something.
That can manifest itself as a physical ailment. Yes.
Which brings us back to mindfulness. And again, like we alluded to in a couple other episodes, it isn't about becoming enlightened overnight. It isn't about changing 180 degrees in your life. It's that small shift that changes the trajectory of your life. It's understanding that, I do have thyroid issues. Well, let me think about that. What do I want to do? Well, I want to do this and this and this. I don't need to be an archaeologist. I need to explore. I need to find stuff. I need to try to figure out, hey, this is the fossil. This is what it meant. This is what lived. This is what it was. And I've come to find out I'm much more interested in how those things lived than finding the fossil. The fossil was, hey, this is the information that I can use to figure out how this life on Earth existed 240 million years ago. But I'm doing that now, and I'm not doing it with an MRI or a CBC or a comprehensive metabolic panel. I can do it with that, but I can also do it just by talking to you and figuring out where your energetic block is and going from there, and then just having a discourse. That's fun. I mean, I'd do that all day long, every day if I could, but Blue Cross Blue Shield doesn't pay for chakra balancing just yet. I think that's maybe on your Medicare supplemental plan in 2040, but not right now. Maybe. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Schrenker, for talking to us today. And thank you for watching this episode of Mindful Medicine. Remember, you are love.